Today we're here at the home of Rick Swanson. He's a fellow AFCA member, and he's got one of the nicest collections, I would say, in the organization in terms of how well it's organized. So what type of fans are these over here?
Well, these I've got are my GE Vortelexes and my Quiet Blades. I've tried to just kind of organize them that shows the model changes and the paint, the color schemes that they've used over the years. And those are up there, my Quiet Blades. I just love those.
Now, how much work did you have to do to these?
Each one has its own work order that I basically did, like cleaning up, oiling the bearings, and most of them they came to me in working order. I just really had to just do the basic maintenance of them.
Mm-hmm. Now these Vortelexes down here on the bottom, these were from the 60s or these later 50s, these blue?
The last one there is a blue spruce, and I believe 63 was the last year that they made that. And the rest of them are, like I say, from the late, let's see, what would be the late 40s. I don't have the 1938 on, which would have been the black and the aluminum blade ones, but I'm on the hunt for them.
And where have you found the majority of your collection? Do you find them in antique shops, or do you find them from private dealers?
Everything, Chris. Everybody in the club knows they just kind of stumble on things. I've got them from customers. Find them in the basement, and the wives want them out of the basement. So those are the kind of the easy finds and the cheapest finds. But on the hunt that we all do, you just find them, and sometimes they're the ones you want, and you just kind of grab them, and some that that aren't part of a collection, I just leave behind for the next guy.
Mm-hmm. So down on the bottom, we've got the General Electric, are they the suitcase window fans?
Those are actually the twin, the 12-inch twins. And there were 5 models in the model run, T1 through T5, and the twin has always been a favorite of mine because my grandmother had one when I was a kid. And I've always loved just the twin, watching the twin blades spin down at different times, and so I really appreciate the collection that I have of those.
Over here we've got it's kind of like a ball motor, right?
Yes, and the one over to the side here with the window panel is the kitchen ventilator, the 10-inch. And that actually is in really good shape. It runs smooth, and it does have the deeper pitch blades on it. And I will use that as a standalone fan just to move air through the living room. And it's one of my favorites. Well, they're all my favorites, but
mm-hmm.
I do really appreciate the little WC2 that I have there, the 14-inch box fan. And
plastic blades, right?
The plastic blades, and that is, as you see it, is how I got it. It was in that good a shape.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of my favorite little ones, because I kind of remember those as a kid.
And over here we've got the bigger 20-inch box fans.
Now those represent my the square box collection. I do have the rounded earlier versions downstairs, and I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to arrange everything to display them. But I've always tried to focus on the 3-speed reversibles. But like I say, I get a fan to represent something, and then as I find what I want, then I will just pass the others off to somebody else that would appreciate them.
Sure.
But I'm trying to gear for the 3-speed reversibles.
Uh-huh. And that's a nice older...
That was my grandfather's GE 2-star 6-blade residential fan.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always been my favorite. I can remember that. My grandmother used that to dry the clothes in the basement. It was wall mounted.
Nice, so it's got a good story behind it too.
Yes. And then the other one is the 2-star 4-blade version of it. And it needs a little work on that one yet, but for at this point it's just there for the visual.
Right. And over here we've got a window fan. What is that, from the 60s?
That would have been the, I believe, 67, 66, 67 is when they went to the plastic blade. And so that's just a representation of that era. I also have the earlier version in my window that I did get from a fellow member, Chris Harding and Mike Myron. And it's flawless. I just love it.
Yeah, it was in great shape. And this one here is nice. It even has, Rick takes the time to put in the descriptions below some of the fans. That's a lot of work.
That actually is the one my grandmother had, and it does have the spin around reversible blades. And I can remember as a kid, I just thought that was the cat's meow.
Oh yeah.
And I always asked her, I said, Grandma, how did you keep my hands out of those blades? And she said, I don't know, you just never did. And those all represent my standards. The 12s and the 10s. And that was basically when GE went to their colors.
Yeah, and the stamp design.
The stamp design, correct. And then it also shows when the OSHA grill came into play. In the model number, they call it a PG, and I learned that they would call that protective grill, is what GE called it. I've just always called it an OSHA grill, designed to keep the kids' hands out of them. But
right.
You know, all of us here, we kept our hands out of it, so.
Common sense.
Yeah.
It's common sense. Oh, go ahead.
And then on the bottom there is my Vento Glide. I got that from Mike Myron, and I just got the blue spruce paint matched up, and so I'm just going to do a paint job on it, and but everything mechanically works just fine. And I don't have the window panel for it, but it's just something to represent in my collection.
Right. I think you'd mentioned last night that the design of the blades are a little bit different than...
Yeah, they're not the standard box fan blades, and we've all kind of thrown around some theories on it, but it is a little different.
So this is the first room of Rick's collection, and now we're going to go into the living room, and there are a couple other nice fans in there as well. Now we're in the living room of Rick Swanson's home. And out here we've got kind of a mixture of manufacturers. You want to tell me a little bit about this one?
That is my 12-inch double diamond that I just got, and I've been using it as a daily runner because it's new to me, and I picked up a 10-inch version of that down at Fanfare this year, so now I've kind of got the 10 and the 12s covered, and I just always have loved them. But I've always been so, like I said, GE needed to be completed and the Westinghouses needed to be completed. So now I'm kind of turned my focus to, you know, the other manufacturers. And that's my latest introduction into my collection. Very quiet and moves a very good amount of air.
And then over here we're back to Westinghouse.
Now those are kind of my pride and joys. I've always loved the Rivieras and all of them all the way through. And then recently I've gotten into the Whirl Airs, and downstairs I've got the pedestal versions for the Whirl Airs, but that is my counter version. And then I got my small Riviera that I just love because it's quiet, but yet just moves a huge amount of air for its size. And then next to it is my 16-inch Riviera, and with the stand on it that thanks to Ray Hane I have, and it's just my pride and joy. I think I'll probably be buried with that.
That's a pretty good sized fan with that stand. And this is a trunnion mount one down here, right?
That's correct. That would have been from the early 50s to like 53, I believe, because it has the mobile air grill on it, and the air jet vanes were an option in those days.
Uh-huh.
So that's one of the reasons I like it. I have the 16-inch pedestal version of that with the same grill, and I like that because it just kind of shows that you know, the later versions, all you could get was the air jet vanes. Mm-hmm. And I have an extra set downstairs that if I ever wanted to use them in that style, I could.
Very nice. Now we'll go over to the General Electric window fan. It's another good specimen here. It's in great shape.
Now that is what I've got it centrally located in my house to where I can actually use it as an exhaust fan. And the GEs have always been my favorite, so it's just perfect for that. I also do have the original sales literature next to it that Chris Harding had sent me, and it came from him out in New Jersey. And all I really had to do on that was paint the grill. Everything else was factory fresh, and it just runs like a champ.
Very nice. This is the original sales literature for that.
That's what came with the fan, correct. Now down below there are my Hunter high velocities. I just acquired the newest version, or the latest version that I made. It's a lot cheaper made than the other one. The plastic is thinner and the motor is different, but it is still, you know, it was still the high velocity of its day. Mm-hmm. Now I'm still looking to find the blue version, which would be the earlier of the one on the left.
Okay.
So that's always in my hunt for. I'd love to have one of those. I believe that would complete the collection of those.
And then this was one that you just picked up?
Ray Hane brought that down from me today, and it just needs a little cleaning and some tender love and care, and she will be part of the collection.
Okay. Now this little fan down here is a, is it a Kisco?
No, it's a Nap Monarch.
Nap Monarch. Duo Air. It's a convertible hassock fan. I had this one for a while in my residence and decided that I would give it to Rick. But it still needs some motor work. It's got a head wire that's crumbling. But it's a really neat design. It converts from a front-facing floor fan directly into a hassock fan. Okay, now we're in the other room of Rick's collection upstairs, and you want to tell me a little bit about these fans?
Well, these are actually, the bottom ones there are my Hunters, Robbins and Myers, and I just acquired the, Robbins and Myers I'm not strong on knowledge on, so I'm trying to learn as I go, but I'm trying to keep the models as throughout my house the same. And up above, you can see that I've got there's the 10-inch double diamond, and then the 12-inch version of the one on the floor, and then the Hunter, the gray one, will be I believe the later of all of them.
Okay.
So I just haven't rearranged and got them in order yet. So it's just a work in progress, as my whole collection is. Then the lower version is the Eskimo that my grandfather had, but he had the 12-inch version that was a non-oscillator, and I have not yet been able to find it. But I always liked it because it had the cobweb design.
Right.
And so that's just kind of something I've got in the collection until I find the one I want. Now the lower fans there, there was a Jack Frost, the 10-inch, my great Aunt Helen had one like that. And my grandmother bought that for her because she refused to have air conditioning. She hated it, but she loved that little fan. And I remember that as a kid. And then the blue version is the later of that model style.
Okay.
And I've always liked it because it had the light blue color.
Kind of what is it, a sea green or a
It's like a powder blue,
okay.
that I've seen. But I've always liked my blue fans, and we were talking about that earlier. You can agree, or was it Bill that was agreeing with me? He liked the blues.
Right.
Now there are my Tornadoes, and that was the newest 5-blade version. And I use that strictly in the winter time because it's I love the noise that it has, the white noise. In the summertime, I use the Fetter's air conditioner over there. And then there's my Silver Swan. I'm trying to think of who I got that from. It was right after I went down the docks in 2012. I found that, and he was getting rid of it, and I just had to have it.
When was that manufactured?
I'm thinking late 80s.
Okay.
Something in that area. And I mean, I always wanted the Swan version of that, and one of our members had it, and he was just parting with it, and so I was luckily I was able to scoop it up and be part of the collection.
Very nice. Now we're in the basement of Rick Swanson's home, and he's got quite a mix of collectibles down here in addition to fans. He's got old petroleum signs. And then down here it looks like he's got a Eskimo circulator, some General Electric HASSIC fans, a HASSIC fan, and then there's a Eskimo down here. And then an Eskimo window fan. And then over here we've got some outboard motors. An old Evinrude Mercury. And then an Edison Deluxe desk fan. Looks like maybe something from the 70s or 80s. And then up here we've got a Vordelux fan blade. And then another oscillating desk fan. A GE rollabout stand fan here. And since Rick is in the HVAC business, he also enjoys collecting room air conditioners. This right here is the motor and 2 blade sets out of a GE HASSIC fan. And we've got more room air conditioners. And then this down here looks like an Air King window fan that he, or perhaps he bought it and it was mounted into a window unit here. Now looking at the back of the room, we've got more room air conditioners. Old Sony television set. Then back here we've got a Montgomery Ward stand fan. This was in the AFCA club members collection. Jeff Rusnick, whom I bought it from, and then Rick Swanson bought it from me. And then a Whirl Air trunnion mount Westinghouse. And then this is the big Westinghouse Whirl Air. I believe it's a 20-inch, and puts out an immense amount of air. And then another old outboard engine. Now, one of the neatest things I think in Rick's basement, besides the fans, is he's got this old display case that he found. I think it was at maybe Habitat for Humanity, another thrift store. And these are all toys that he had from his childhood. I think some of them are original from his childhood, others he found. Old Atari set. And then these old cameras. An old slide projector. Anything you see in Rick's collection is in really good shape. Looks like a really nice Vornado set of window fans that, or it's a window fan, but they can detach into single fans. And more Vornados. And then it looks like a couple of modern era Vornados. And then down here we've got a really big Vornado window fan. And this one looks to be maybe an 8-inch, possibly an 8-inch Vornado. And then this area over here is where Rick does a lot of his work on the fans. This is his workbench. It looks like he's working right now on a quiet blade. Now over here we've got some GE box fans, then a big Emerson window fan down here, and then a newer Emerson model up here. And there's another Emerson window fan, it's kind of buried. And then some Emerson desk fans, stamped metal blades. These look to be 12 incher, 10 or 12 inchers. This one here is a 12. .77648 model. Down here we've got the remaining parts of Rick's collection, and it just always amazes me how well organized he has everything. These look like maybe Lasco or Manning Bowman box fans. I'm probably wrong, but they look like, or maybe Eskimo. There is a Lasco here on the end. Then this really nice condition pin crest. This one here is a Air King. It's got a pilot light on the top. And then here we've got a Kmart. I think it's maybe the P22. Again, I could be saying it wrong. And now we got a little bit later model Westinghouse Mobile Airs. These are the ones that have the hexagonal motor as well as the three-bladed fan blades. And down here is I'm not sure what the name of this model is actually. It's another Westinghouse from that same era. But all these mobile airs are just in terrific condition. I think some of them he probably restored. This definitely looks like it was from the 70s. And then on the back wall here we have some more window AC units. Fetters. It's just in terrific condition. More Fetters units. And then down here we have more Westinghouse. I think one of these, it was this one here, the second one is the one that I sold to Rick. And then you've got the ubiquitous Westinghouse ball motor fan. Different iterations of that particular model. I think these Westinghouses are from the 60s. Maybe later 50s. And then finally we have the Westinghouse Power Air, sometimes known as the Vader fan. And a heater over here. Now this last item down here is a small forced air heater. It's got a, I think Rick said, a 3-inch fan on the back. But like everything of his, it's in great shape. Push button toggle. And this concludes the Rick Swanson fan and AC collection. It has a nice collection of mixers and kitchen appliances. And he's got the supporting literature, some old ads.
Oh, we bought this actually at Burgers. Okay. Hiring part of the store here in Victoria. So it wasn't a cheapie.
It's just like the one that we took to Jersey when they undid this
Did they get that running?
with another motor.
Oh.
Yeah, and I have a Lakewood motor at home, but I forgot it, of course.
What's a 1/2-inch shaft on the motor?
I think this is the same motor they used on the 20s. Now if this is like the other one, then I can take this off.
Working on fans. Everything is in pieces.
It's just disintegrated.
So the motor was shot?
They only got it on one speed. From why, I don't know.
It's got Ray performing fan surgery there.
Yep.
It's the same thing?
Well,
A picture of that.
yep. See it?
Oh, yeah.
There's one.
What is it?
Oh, here's the wire. The wire's here, and there's the insulation coming off. See them?
Uh-huh.
They're all shorted. That makes a difference.
So that,
And why did it do that? I don't know. This is the exact same way the other one was that was at Tom's Hats. So in reality, what it needs is to be rewired. It needs a new head wire, which is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it 5?
5? It's got capacitor.
Wait a minute. No, it's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
What's the name of this model? Kenmore?
1851.
Oh, that just says Sears Kenmore up there. Do you have the bite out of this guard? You got the piece?
I'm hoping it's still in the box. I think it is. I kind of pushed it in there. It might be in this little bag.
Well, there's the tag down here
Yeah.
with the Sears tag. Of course, it's got to be read by someone that's got eyesight, but not me. I can't see worth damn.
I might break down one of these days and finally get some new glasses.
That might help.
I was postponing it because eye doc put me on drops for glaucoma,
Oh,
and it was messing with my.
does it work?
Yeah, my pressure's back down.
What's wrong, Rick?
Oh, sometimes this camera doesn't.
I asked him, I said, hey doc, glaucoma, huh? Do I qualify for marijuana? And he goes, no, you get drops. I'm like, okay. No, I lied. I somehow lost the piece of the
just has the model number, ordering parts, yada, yada, yada. I can't read the rest.
So this wasn't working before the cord was broken off? Either?
Yeah, it worked at one point in time,
At
but
one
then it
point
just
it did.
kind of, it sat in the basement for a while and then it just,
This motor's been out and back in again, apparently, 'cause it's
that's when we
upside down.
took it out.
Well, it's upside down right now.
You and I did that.
Did we? I don't remember that.
Because I think we put the things on it and it looked dead, so
It's dead.
then that's where we left it.
That's
Put
what
it together today, later.
In fact, it's gonna have to be redone, because it's breaking up here right at where it goes in the motor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's,
Is that like ribbon wire almost?
Strains and it's got 4.
they're cracking all the way along here. Look at this. You just bend it and look what it does.
Yeah.
High, medium,
It's-
low, common.
It's just falling apart. So, it needs surgery. If we,
Unless I get that Lakewood motor that's got a 3-speed with a thermostat. Put that on there.
It's the same amperage as that one, you think?
Probably.
what kind of Lakewood motor?
Just a 20-inch box fan with a thermostat motor.
GE,
Cheap.
Cheap.
White one.
all the white ones.
Brand.
Those are done by
Well, what
McMillan.
would you find out? I didn't hear you right. I was.
The wiring is all going to hell. See this? It's all
Oh
in here. It's all coming apart. Here's one of the conductors right here on itself. There's no more insulation on them. So maybe
There's our number.
that's the number for parts and that, and
Oh, okay.
I couldn't read a date in there. Maybe that's why I don't have no plug on here, because you took it off so someone couldn't
Yeah, that could.
inadvertently plug it in and blow something up.
Plug it up and get juiced.
Yay.
So what do you want to call this
Here, throw all those
unofficial fan meet, Rick?
throw everything in here.
Well, I'm just gonna put this back in here.
I'm open for suggestions.
The
The Peoria Regional.
There you
There
go.
you go, it's very original.
The creative.
the Swanson TV dinner fan meet.
Now, see, they stopped calling me Swanee TV dinners in 7th grade. And
Really? They actually
we
had
just
to live with
graduated
that,
to
huh?
Swanee River, and then we just dropped the river and called me Swanee. And that's what I've been ever since.
There you go, the Swanee River fan.
Now
meet.
nobody knows what Swanson is anymore, do they? From a TV dinner
Is
perspective?
Swanson still making TV dinners?
Yep.
Do
Are
they?
they?
And I'm not getting my residual checks like I used to.
Damn it.
Do they make them in the tin things you have to put in the oven, or is it some sort of
Probably
can't.
microwave
some
now.
They
microwave?
can, you'll blow up your microwave.
No, I was amazed to learn that they still make them because my brother actually buys those once in a while.
I still do too.
And I was talking with his daughter, she's 21, and he goes, yeah, Dad always made me TV dinners. And I'm like, TV dinners? Like the ones, like the little horrible dessert pieces and the mixed vegetables and stuff? She goes, yes.
Yeah.
Those were good.
I like
At least he could have got her frozen
You can leave
pizzas.
that out, Rick. I'm coming for another cup.
Oh, okay.
You know what? When I was a little kid, I did kind of like the Swanson TV dinner, so.
Well, you know what it was is, you know, I think if my mom was pushing them at us as a mode of food, we would have hated them, but they were treats.
Right.
You know, they were like when Mom and Dad would be going out and the babysitter'd be there, you know, that's when you'd get a TV dinner, you know.
Yeah.
When you need a splash or a topper,
Sure, why not?
make another pot.
Are we making Rick Swanson or are we making Ted Krivak's coffee for pot number
With
2?
a hit,
What?
it's gonna be the Kryback coffee.
That's another one? Yeah. I can't do that. I'll have a heart attack. I'll have
keep you up.
arrhythmia.
You won't
Well,
go
I
to
mean,
sleep?
it'll keep you up so much you might end up in Wisconsin.
I'll first shoot my house.
He's scoping out Madison just to make sure it's cool enough for the next fan fest.
There you go.
I haven't spent much time in Madison. I've only been there a couple of times.
It's only about an hour from my house.
What's that?
It's about an hour from my house.
That's not bad.
No. That would be nice.
I'm thinking it's like a 6 or 7 hour drive for me. 6, I think. It might only be like 5.5.
I was gonna say it's probably about 5.5.
Did you get any kind of continuity on that, Ray?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Well, I wouldn't want to even try it at this stage.
My dad moved in here when he was 14. And so this is what...
Now, like I say, the one that they had in Jersey looked just like this, except it was filthy, goddamn dirty. And when they checked it, they couldn't get anything out of it. Mike Heffernan took it home and he got it to run only on 1 speed. So Tom's dad found another motor in his basement out of a junker and they're going to swap it out. I don't think it was a GE motor.
Oh, so who made them? I think Galaxy, the little plastic ones with the blue blades. Little box fan.
Which one?
Yes.
Or was it a Lasco from the early 70s?
I think Lasco and Galaxy
Lasco
was
made
the
them.
same thing.
Yeah. I picked up one of those. It was at an auction. And it was like,
And
$1.
they had 2 flavors of that. The first ones had actual Fasco motors in them, 3.3-inch Fasco motors, and then the later ones had the import motor with like the anodized gold cover on it.
Oh,
you know, I haven't even taken it apart to look at it. I just know it doesn't work. I'm like, for $1. What the heck?
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Well, even if you go wrong, it's still only $1.
They're kind of cute.
Yeah, they're kind of a neat van. I figured, well, this one might be easy to get running, so I picked it up. Of course, it might just be fried.
I've got the big one of this damn thing with the...
oh, I think I've seen that. What was it out here?
It's got a big rack that it sits in there with a tabletop on it. Or you can put the top down below and then the fan pops up. You can, it looks just like this with this goofy guard on it, but it's a 20-inch. It was the Sears Best model.
Of course.